Okay, folks, I'm back again. So evidently no one sent the dirty old man police after me. And as I stated before in the last video, we're going to be talking about a couple of these sections that we have as far as our culture is concerned, talking a little bit about our culture, because we have various cultures trying to define normal sexuality. I find it kind of interesting. The two areas that we're talking about is Ines Bieg. I question the pronunciation of that, but until I find the correct pronunciation, let's accept it. There was a study done by Messenger in 1971. Now, the other area that we're going to be comparing is the island of Mangaya, which is a Cook Island off of Australia. And there was a study that took place in 1971 also by an individual by the name of Marshall. Now, what we're going to be doing is looking at these two cultures that are, to me, very extreme, particularly from our viewpoint. So first we're going to start with Ines Bieg. They abhor nudity. I mean, nudity isn't even one of the things that they want. They don't even wash their own bodies that are covered by some type of clothing. They only wash the part that is exposed, and believe me, they don't have very much exposed. Their hands and their face, possibly their feet. I mean, this is it. This is it. Okay, so when supposedly they have a moment of intimacy, there's very little foreplay. I mean, it's a society. We procreate. We do not engage in sex for recreation. And that is kind of interesting because we even have some cultures, segments of cultures, that feel as though that sex is for procreation and not for recreation. I think it's kind of an interesting take on it. They believe basically that kind of sex is evil, and men and women sleep in their underwear. I mean, they're basically fully clothed. The touching aspect is not part of their nightly routine, if they have a routine at night, other than sleeping, of course. And again, like I stated, sex was for procreation. They have feared certain times, menstruation, menopause. They feared these, and they thought that there was some type of devil or some evil lurking in the background. Matter of fact, as far as menopause is concerned, some very healthy women going through menopause would just resign themselves that, hey, my life has ended. And so they spend the remaining years in a secluded area, lay on a couch, lay on the bed. It's all over. What is interesting about this is that they think that intercourse can lead to a mental disorder. Now, this is a culture we want to remember. And even dogs licking their own genitals are punished because it's an act that we do not tolerate. Now, both of these areas you can research a little bit further. There's still some interesting aspects connected with them. But we'll go to the island of Mangaya, which is again a Cook Island off the coast of Australia. And activity, sexual activity, is a principal activity. Boys at the age of 13, they receive some type of incision on the top of their penis, and then after that heals, and I'm not quite sure the significance of this incision, but after they heal, now they were 13 years of age. Now you imagine, the school teachers are not, I shouldn't say all school teachers. I've got to back up from that one real quick. But we have read of accounts where school teachers had affairs with 13, 14, 15-year-old boys. And here in the United States, and this was just really looked down upon. But here, part of the culture is that the boys of age 13 receive special instruction from women. Not only verbal instruction, but actually how to instruction. You get what I mean? All right. Now, a young girl also receives special instruction. And, excuse me, as a result of this, I have read, now this is the age 13. Of course, we here in our culture, taking someone the age of 13 and giving them special instruction, they're ruined for life. They're ruined for life. To have such a traumatic experience. Okay, age 13 in the United States, if this takes place, it's horrible. We don't even want to speak about it. We don't even want to talk about it. Send them to jail if someone abuses someone at age 13. Now, I'm not saying this is good or bad. What I'm saying is we are comparing three cultures. One off of it's an island. Islas Bay is an island off of Ireland. We are comparing the Mangea Islands, and I'm looking at the United States culture. And of course, here in the United States, you can ask just probably a lot of people, do you really know about sexuality in our culture here in the United States? They probably say, you bet. We know all about sexuality here in the United States. I kind of doubt this. We are led pretty much by what the media tells us we should be doing, but no Herculean type or Hercules, when he ravaged 50 virgins in one night. This doesn't happen. Probably some men would like to think they could, but it doesn't happen. So I'm wondering just how well grounded we are in this area. But for right now, we live in this culture. Let's take that, hey, we know it all. Let's go ahead and go with that. Comparing it with the Mangaian culture. After this instruction, at age 18, the boys have 3 orgasms per night, 7 nights a week. Now, they are taught that they do not have an orgasm before their partner does. A female partner. This is part of the training. This is part of the instruction. At age 25, slows down a little. They have 2 orgasms a night, 5 to 6 nights a week. And evidently, all of the information that I have read, and it's kind of sketchy, and I would advise more studying being done on this, if you're interested in this area, that all, or a very, very vast majority of Mangaian women have orgasms. When they were told, the Mangaian women were told that in the United States, about half, and this was a figure that was thrown out, about half of the women have orgasms. The Mangaian women thought that the women here in the that women here in the United States were ill or sick, and that's what they asked. Well, if only about half of them have orgasms, are they sick? Are they ill? I don't know. I'm not going to jump into this and try to figure this out for anyone. But we have the 3 cultures, and this is the point that I want to make. We have what we would call in our culture a very, very subdued and prohibited type sex activity. And then we have another culture which is very permissive. And then we have our culture which really doesn't adhere to either one. But even though we have the permissive culture on the island of Mangea, we feel as though here in the United States, our culture tells us that 13-year-olds are too young to have sex. I don't know. I'm not going to say that this is the way it should or shouldn't be. I'm just comparing the three cultures, and from this, you're going to have to go ahead and formulate, your own opinions on it. And we will be looking at this in assignments. And as we go through the text, we're going to be looking at, I will say this, there is study after study after study being done. Finally, Masters and Johnson came along and said, hey, as far as sex therapy is concerned, they had a plan, they have a procedure. It is outlined in your text, and we'll certainly be looking at that. I find it interesting because I don't believe that the emphasis that we put on sex here in the United States, that if an individual cannot perform either a him or a her, and I don't care either one, that it might be considered something wrong. And what really takes place in our society, and this is a question that may prohibit or maybe even encourage some of these sexual dysfunctions. Is it possible? Is it possible that as a result of our culture here in the United States and our attitude toward sex here in the United States, and a lot of the Western Hemisphere as far as that's concerned, but could this bring about some of the abnormality? Now, having said that, I definitely feel as though home life and stress can be a definite deterrent as far as a healthy sex life is concerned. And I just threw that out. Not going to charge anything extra for that. And we do have a lot of stress here in the United States. So we'll go to assignments. When you get done visiting, when we get done visiting here, there'll be a couple of questions and assignments concerning the material that we've covered in the video. There's also will be an overview of the history and the culture of sex, and I could say sexuality. And I'm going to say this. I believe that we are in for a sexual revolution. I really believe that. And we'll be working on that in forums. We'll be going into the sexual revolution that I perceive. We have computers for everything. Everything. I'm going to say it one more time. Everything. So I don't know whether I'll be around to see the revolution or not, but I think it's going to be interesting. So as you go through this, any questions, feel free to ask. Keep up the good work. I appreciate your responses. Keep in mind that this is a 400 level course, and your response should be able to stand by itself. By that I mean be self-explanatory. And you folks have been doing it. You folks have been doing a really, really good job for the most part. So until the next chapter, you folks have a good day.